Welcome everybody to Service Drive Revolution and a Friday drive-by. I'm Chris Collins and say hello to Christian.
Hello everyone.
We haven't done a drive-by in a while, but we're going to change up the format and we're going to do questions on Friday as drive-bys. So if you have a question, a burning question that you need advice, and it can be about the service drive, it could be about the parts department, it could be about customers, hiring,
How to stop volcanoes from erupting.
Relationship advice.
Maybe relationship advice.
How to tell a long setup and a joke and then a kind of slow punchline. Any of that, we are here for you. The number is, get a pencil or a pen. A lot of people probably don't use pencils anymore. Get a pen, write this down, 8333 Ask SDR. 8333 Ask SDR. And remember, if you don't have your top dog tickets, October 22nd, 23rd, 24th?
Yeah, I wouldn't wait too long on those things. This is going to be off the chain, as they say.
John from Bar Rescue.
Taffer, yeah.
Taffer. Cialdini, Robert Cialdini.
The doctor.
I feel great that I'm on a one-to-one relationship where I can call him Bob.
That's huge.
Huge. Chase Hughes, the amazing Chase Hughes. And Matt Biamonte, celebrity trainer to the stars.
Funny man also.
You're going to leave the Top Dog event weaponized. Honestly, you're going to be weaponized. This will be an event that will be talked about for years to come. You do not want to miss it. Incredible.
Yeah. What's
going to happen at that event. I'm getting really excited.
We're
going to get to the question. We have a question, Christian.
It's going to be great.
Can we roll the question?
Morning, guys. My name is Greg. I sent Chris an email the other day, and he requested I call the line. So I will submit my question here. Hey, Chris, and possibly Christian or Mia. Thank you for taking my question. My name is Greg Schnarr. I am a Canadian aftermarket heavy truck repair shop co-owner. I listen to the show, and I just finished reading both of your books. I really love the Millionaire Service Advisor story format, and I thought the content of both books was extremely valuable. I have a burning question about flat rate. But before I get to that, I'd like to ask a quick question regarding the Express Lanes podcast that aired on Monday. When discussing your cost of labor, more specifically, the labor dollars shown in the cost of goods section of the P&L, do you recommend including payroll taxes, vacation, benefits, Christmas bonuses, etc., or just the cost of the hourly wages, then list all of the extras in the expense column of your P&L? Now on to my burning question. In your opinion, why does the trucking industry not operate on flat rate? Please discuss this in detail. Also, how does the car industry deal with coaching and mentoring apprentices while on a flat rate system where I would assume the technicians are more interested in making money than teaching and coaching apprentices? Lastly, in your opinion, does flat rate benefit the customer or just the bottom line for the shop? I'd like to think the uptime improvement would be the benefit for the customer. However, I am a little concerned about possible repair quality issues. Thanks again for taking my question on Service Drive Revolution, and have fun with Top Dog in October.
Great questions, Greg.
There's a lot going on there.
There's a lot going on there. So the first thing is, when we're talking about expenses, it doesn't change the bottom line number if you put other things into your cost of labor. I kind of have a preference that I would put things like, healthcare, vacations, training, that sort of stuff, not to the cost of sale. But the cost of sale would have the technician and any direct costs the technician would have. So you don't have this in your scenario, but let's say there's a scenario where there's a union. And so we're paying union dues, or there's one union that we have where we're making up for pension that was, misinvested or whatever previously. Those things are going to the direct cost of the sale. I don't put training there either. in a sense, but unproductive wages I would put there. So if I have technicians that are unproductive, I put those wages there. So this doesn't apply in your scenario, but let's say I have quick lube techs that aren't flagging or are flagging, but it's not enough to cover their expense. I put those to the actual cost of labor. So I hope that helps with that. So basically the spirit of the question here is flat rate. How did truck miss that boat in a sense? And then does it have a negative effect on the customer experience? And then how do they do training and that sort of thing? So I believe that shops where the technicians are flat rate, the mindset of the technicians is a little bit different. There's a deeper ownership and professionalism in technicians that are flat rate. They believe that they come to work and they provide a certain value, and it's more like the world's happening for them than the world's happening to them in a sense. Now, I know we're going to get tons of comments on YouTube of technicians debating that, and that's okay. I'm not painting that with a really broad brush, but there are a lot of commonalities that flat rate technicians do expect something a little higher of themselves, which in turn does have a connection to the quality of work. So there's usually less comebacks in a flat rate shop because the technicians are vested. They're vested in the outcome.
Yeah, you could make a case that actually flat rate technicians should have less comebacks, right? So if I'm an hourly technician and I have a comeback and I have to fix it, I still get paid. But if I'm a flat rate technician and I did a job and I got paid 2 hours for that job and then it comes back and I fix it for free, that's on my dime, and it's definitely a detractor. I think that
dramatically less comebacks in a flat rate shop.
That's my experience as well.
Dramatically, like it's night and day, because there is just a level of accountability built in.
But I would say the outside looking in, that would be a normal fear of someone that if you're flat rate, you're just turning work, you're just chucking it out, but it just doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah. And then the other thing to take into consideration is so when we talk about flat rate versus hourly techs, there is a pretty good system in car and truck where there are book times. There's manuals, right? Like Mitchell, the manufacturer, they have manuals of what a job should take. And those are usually pretty generous. In fact, in most situations, what we're doing on the retail end is we're taking warranty times 150%. And so it's kind of built into the equation that those times are pretty generous. And if you're working on the same sort of trucks or cars over and over again, maybe the first time you do a water pump, you're at 100%. But if you've done that thing 5 times, you're going to be very efficient at a job that you've done over and over again. So it really does benefit the technician that's motivated, especially if you're working on the same car line over and over again or the same types of cars. There's just a built-in efficiency that happens that you don't see in hourly shops, because a lot of times, I tell this analogy all the time, but if you take a truck shop and I throw one flat rate tech in there, it implodes the shop, because that flat rate tech is writing better stories. He expects to get paid for the time. The advisors can't give away diagnosis. It does create a problem, but we estimate that there's about a 25% shrinkage between what the advisors actually charge and what work is actually performed in the shop in the difference between flat rate and hourly technicians. It's a dramatic difference when you have a flat rate tech that's actually looking up the times, is actually writing stories, paying attention, especially if you have a dealership and warranty time. Their stories are better, which then the communication is better to the technician. The history is better. There's, and then, the customer experience is better because we're turning them quicker and the quality is higher. So, the other thing, like, I want you to think about this, and I don't know, Greg, how we got to where we're at with truck being predominantly hourly. I don't know that. And if you find out, let me know. But I will say this, that in a lot of situations when we're coaching somebody with a truck service department, and they perceive that their technicians are making $30 an hour. And then we actually figure out their cost of labor when we go through. Most of the time they're running at 50% efficiency, which means their cost to produce an hour of labor is $60. And then I always make the point, could you hire a flat rate tech for 45? And the answer is always yes. So if you could hire a quality tech that's flat rate for 45, you're lowering your cost of labor, you're increasing your efficiency, and the shop is going to move along with your business. So the real thing to understand is when your shop is running at 50 or 60% efficient, and you have the shrinkage because the techs aren't vested in what they collect on the RO, there's really no connection between what is billed and what they get paid. The shrinkage and that inefficiency is a lot of money that you could pay technicians more and have a better relationship with the shop because it's working with you in a sense.
Yeah, and I think another thing Greg had asked about was that I think uptime is greatly improved on the flat rate system. And I think that it is hard. I think
the techs are like, give it to me, I'm hungry, like let's go.
Yep.
Where hourly techs seem to somehow like plan out their day. The walk to the parts department can take 20 minutes. And once again, I'm not saying all technicians are that way, but there is a huge culture difference between technicians that are vested in the outcome like we are versus ones that are there to work and they're going to do it at their own pace. Yeah. There's a big difference.
Yeah, I think overall, I look at flat rate as a reward for experience. So like you said, if you get a job that you start out the first time you do it, it's 2 hours and it pays 2 hours and it gets down to 1.4, 1.2. If you get really, really good at that stuff, that is literally just paying for years of experience. Also, the thousands of dollars in tools to try to make the job easier, like all that stuff. I think the technician deserves to keep all that. So that's why I'm such a huge fan of the flat rate. But I think that if I had to guess, I mean, think about that. Like as a manager, like wrapping your head around the fact that paying somebody $15 more saves you $15 an hour. Like it's hard to put your head around that stuff.
Well, I mean, I just think like I would rather have technicians that were vested in it like we are. So the customer's paying for the tech. I'm not.
It's a good point.
I could run a business at a higher rate if I can control the quality and the turn.
Yeah, then it's more valuable anyways.
Yeah, I can charge more, and I'd rather pay techs more in that scenario. So thanks so much, Greg, for the question. I appreciate you calling it in. I know you did email me, but I thought that this question would help a lot of other people, and so thank you so much. Great, service drive revolution.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah.
So thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time on Service Drive Revolution. Thanks for watching this week's Drive-By. I hope we gave you something to think about over the weekend. We're uploading new stuff every day, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss out. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show, call 8333-ASK-SDR and we'll answer your question on the show. That's 8333-ASK-SDR. For special deals on our books and training, head over to offers.chriscollinsinc.com. Now that's offers.chriscollinsinc.com. I'm Chris Collins, and I'll see you in the next video.